factually incorrect, Bill Maher.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let us meet our panel. He is a former New Kid, and his newest solo CD is Meet Joe Mac. Meet Joey McIntyre. Kids. Hey, with the kids today. That's right. I taught him everything he knows about getting women. She's the National Field Director for the nation's oldest conservative grassroots organization, and I taught her... from the American Conservative Union, Kerri Houston. Kerri. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for being here. An Oscar-nominated... Wow, Oscar-nominated actress on our show? Good. An occasional bride of Chucky. Her upcoming Showtime movie is Sister Mary Explains It All. Hey, I always like this woman on our show. Jennifer Tilly, ladies and gentlemen. Not here enough. How are you? And he is half of the legendary Smothers brothers, and they'll be at New York's Feinstein's at the Regency, part of the Toyota Comedy Festival starting May 29th. Tommy Smothers, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see, little heart.
Wait for me. You look very hip.
No, that's my job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're here. This is very apropos tonight. We have two people on the panel here who have at least made part of their living playing dumb. I've seen you do it on occasion. Because you're a smart...
What can I say? I'm just a really good actress.
You are. You are, and a really smart person. But I've seen you put on that little voice and play dumb, and of course you have...
I might do it tonight.
You might. And Tommy, you of course have done it so well that I've almost believed it. Anyway,
I think you just insulted both of us.
I didn't.
No, he didn't insult me at all, because there is a gift of getting close to who you are. And if it's not particularly... Most people are a little inarticulate. I think the country is a little stunned by information, all stuff that comes through, and it's good to represent the people that aren't represented.
Right. And which brings us to our president. Which brings me to the idiot-in-chief, exactly. And he was at Yale the other day getting an honorary degree, like people are going to start calling him doctor. Yeah. But if you saw the speech, and it was all over the news, he made a lot of self-deprecating jokes about what a moron he is. He said, if you're like me, you won't remember everything you did here. Big laugh. He said he was talking about some guy he used to hang out at the library with. He said we had a deal. He wouldn't read aloud, and I wouldn't snore. He said, to the C students, I say, you too can be president of the United States. And everybody laughed, except that it's not really that funny. Oh. Sorry.
Well, did you laugh, Bill?
No, I mean, because like I say, it's not that funny. But
he is funny, though. He's funny. He's like a guy that you know, want to have a couple of beers with at a barbecue, and, you know...
Should that man be
unfortunately, you know, he's the leader of the free world, but...
Yeah.
Well, isn't it
I think
a secure person who can do this? Isn't it a secure person who can sort of make fun of himself? And may I say, he graduated from Yale, Harvard Business School, and beat Al Gore. So liberals gave him 2 degrees and a White House seat. I don't think that's so bad.
That's pretty good.
Your cell phone is ringing.
No,
So you did an announcement, turn off your cell phone before the show starts?
Joey, don't get laid just for an hour.
It could be the president.
Just... Joey, I've told you this before. No booty calls from 5 to 6. Okay, but what is missing from that equation? When a guy says, you too, if you're a C student, could be president, what's missing from that equation?
I think what's missing is, well, a brain, but...
No. What is he not saying?
He is basically saying that I'm not very bright and I slid into the White House by accident. He's saying I am Bart Simpson, essentially. You know, and I think what he's trying to do is appeal to the common person and say, you know what, I'm a regular guy, I'm just like you, but you don't want a regular guy that's just like you running the White House.
Like, put it into context, though. This isn't a typical...
Good.
Thank
Context.
you. Context is good.
What's he leaving out?
The typical Yale commencement speech is they don't have a typical Yale commencement speech. They let the president get up. They've gone back to Teddy Roosevelt and do this, and they tell him it's supposed to be humorful, it's supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be, and he's got this one-liner in there about being a C student. And, you know, to give the guy his due, perhaps he struggled in school. I have 2 kids with learning differences who struggled in school. They didn't do all that great academically, straight A's all the way through, but they're brilliant kids. So maybe he's kind of looking back on a little bit of this that he saw in himself.
Okay,
and we all know he got straight A's in grammar school.
But when he says to kids, if you're a C student, you could become president, what is the other part of that? I think it's that, yeah, if your dad was president and you have big oil and big money behind you, and you're a bought and sold party hack, that's what's left out. Not anybody who's
50% of the American people are stupid, too?
Oh, more than 50% of the American people are stupid. Way more. Tommy, back me up on
that's for sure. Yeah.
But you're in the other 50%.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
By the way, it's less than 50%. Anyway, he left that part out of the equation. Don't you think that matters? That if you're a C student, you could become president if, while you're a C student, your dad was the head of the CIA.
Well, what if you're a C student and you become an A student?
He didn't.
Okay?
Yeah. He never became an A student.
But he did become the president.
I think, but is that sort of wrong that he's coming, maybe he's reading his press clippings and realizing that I gotta be me. At least he's being...
At least he's honest.
Well, I think the thing is...
That's Sammy Davis you're thinking of.
I gotta be me, man. This is what he's saying. That's it.
I think he shouldn't call attention to that because, honestly...
I agree.
Because people do have that perception that he slid into office on his daddy's money and that he sort of accidentally became president. And I think for him to joke about that is sort of calling attention to the fact that he's not a brilliant, genius-driven man. I mean, isn't the whole thing that he says, which I think he thinks is very entertaining, is like, now that I'm in the White House, I'm going to kind of take it easy. I'm going to go out to the ranch every weekend. I take naps in the middle of the day.
Students ever to strive to become great?
I want C students to strive to become great, but I don't want them to actually get there.
It's one thing for a president to be self-deprecating about a trait that really doesn't affect you being president, like Ford was clumsy and Gore was stiff. But those things wouldn't affect you. But being a moron, that would affect the job.
You know, they used to call Bush
wait a second.
and now that he's laughing at himself, now they make fun of him.
So he's laughing at himself, but as I'm not concerned about, you know, take it to the moron thing.
You're right. He's not a moron.
No, he's not a moron. But what's the
deserve
most offensive is not that he's not the quickest, that he makes malaprops and does all those things, and he's handling very well, that self-deprecating. What is most disturbing is that this is a bought man.
Yes.
I'm frightened because, I mean, you and I both voted for Nader. Gosh, and I'm really sorry I did, because I didn't think there was going to be that much difference of what Bush is doing and what Gore would have done. I'm seeing this huge. I thought maybe George W. would be kind of like his dad, kind of benign, but not.
Because that's how he ran, Tommy. We actually believe that he was a compassionate conservative.
But to see that he's been bought even more than Gore was bought, and that was outrageous. That's scary.
Okay. We got to take a break, and we'll continue on that theme. Tonight, President Bush hosted his first major fundraiser at the White House, which was expected to rake in, get this, $20 million, much of it from energy industry officials who, of course, love the Bush White House, or as they call it, the self-service pump. Wants her dress back. I'm not kidding. I'm sure you know the one I mean. Apparently, the independent counsel's office never returned the dress, and she wants it back. Monica's plan is to wear the dress again and keep making the stain bigger so she looks like she's losing weight. Okay, Tommy, you were mentioning bought and sold. How very apropos tonight. Bush had his big debut as a fundraiser there, looking to raise $20 million. They had, well, it was a who's who of special interest there. A lot of energy people in there. The dinner sponsors included the president of the American Petroleum Institute, the vice president of the American Gas Association, lobbyists for Alliance Energy. I could go on. We know what the score is. Why aren't Americans upset about this? We are looking into the window. We see the president dancing with big oil. We're watching Daddy banging the babysitter. No one cares.
He's taking a hard line. He's disassociating himself from the whole energy crisis in California. He's saying, you showbiz people got yourself into this, now get yourself out.
Exactly.
He has too many likes, I guess. That must be the problem.
Yes.
It's a
You're right. Because California didn't vote for him by a wide margin.
That's
so
right.
He's basically saying, if it gets too hot this summer, stay at Streisand's house.
Well,
you know, she lives out at the beach.
Well, don't you think that the California crisis is absolutely perfect for George W. and his friends?
Yeah.
This allows us to say we need more fuel. We don't need more conversation. You know, one time I said, I'm a regular suppository of information. I said, man, that's George W. How to write his speeches. Anyway.
But he was the guy, maybe he's, you know, he needs some advice, because, like, isn't George Bush the only guy who drilled for oil in Texas and couldn't find it, and so he decided...
Yes.
He decided to run for president.
He is the only guy.
He's the only guy, so maybe, you know...
He couldn't find oil in Elvis's last meal.
You know, this is not a funny subject.
I'm sorry, man.
I don't know why you're trying to be funny.
Well, you guys are so smart, so I'm just kind of just listening. And...
No, you're fine. And it's just that, if you take it seriously for a moment.
Okay.
That it is, it's kind of...
But you know what I love about this? Is the Republicans said this is night and day from what Clinton was doing when he was fundraising. How is this night and day to have... Well, Dick Cheney had all these people at his house last night for a warm-up. Somehow that's not a fundraising violation.
No, I think the rule is you don't ask for money. You don't ask for money on federal property.
Do you really have to ask?
Are you not allowed to go to the vice president's mansion then if you've given money?
I think the implication is, it's like if I have a Tupperware party, everybody better buy some damn Tupperware. It's an obligation.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, listen to this. The Republican National Committee would not release a seating plan for the dinner. But two members of the organization, speaking on condition of anonymity, said donors who wanted to be seated next to a particular cabinet member, you know, if you're sitting next to them at the table, you can actually slip cash under the table, were directed to make the request to the committee, and the decision would be made based on how much money they had contributed to the party. So in other words, the Republicans won't say who gets to sit next to who, but it is based on how much money you gave legally, so that you could sit next to a guy.
Well, that's the same way of going to see the producers. If you got the money to buy the seat, down there, it's kind of like that, isn't it?
And this is different from every other political activity of this nature. How?
No, but it is the Republicans who were saying that what Clinton was doing was night and day different. I'm asking
it's apples versus egg rolls. At least these people are American and not Chinese.
Ouch! I bet the last guy they want to sit next to is the president. Because they know he's not the guy making all the decisions. It costs $1,000 to sit next to Bush and, like, you know, $500,000 to sit next to Cheney.
Yeah. You know, they hate this stuff, though. The politicians, they hate this stuff.
That was serious and funny.
Yes, it was.
It was both.
Across the line, that was great.
Thank you, Tony.
Very good.
Why do the politicians hate this?
Oh, because they'd rather stay home and just watch you on TV than have to go listen to some guy, you know, blah, blah, blah in their ear about, oh, let me tell you about my business, how great it was, because they gave them money, so therefore...
But then why are the Republicans trying to torpedo campaign finance reform? It's in the Senate right now. The House, rather, the Senate...
I think it's got something to do with that thing in the First Amendment that says you shall not abridge the freedom of speech.
That's BS. Come on.
Yes, it so is.
If money was equally distributed to everybody in the country, then money could have free speech.
Well,
but when some people have extraordinary amount of money...
Like the media, for example? They get to talk 60 days before the election, but I won't. John McCain will throw me into jail.
Well,
I don't want to go to jail.
I agree with you about the media being one of the the dark, terrible ogres of this whole thing.
Yes,
Peter Jennings didn't graduate from high school either. Can I just mention that while we're talking about Yale? Oh, we're not talking about Yale anymore.
Well, that's
okay.
No, I don't like you anymore. I like you.
This idea that money equals free speech is preposterous.
It is preposterous.
Of course, money does not equal free speech.
I didn't say that, though.
Well, you said the First Amendment, didn't you?
Yeah, because organizations, left and right, who have membership, speak for the membership before an election. The Sierra Club and our own organization does this. Because individuals don't have the money to go buy an ad. So they send membership donations to an organization that represents
Individuals
them.
don't have the money.
So where's
These
the democracy here?
fat cats have the money, and that's why they get to go to the dinner.
$25 donors don't. $25 donors to the Sierra Club don't either. But now, 60 days before an election, the incumbent can get on and chit-chat and have a press conference about how long his fingernails
Who has more money, ExxonMobil or the Sierra Club?
But
I wonder who's going to get their way in this administration.
There's no $25 donors for Exxon. You know what I mean?
There's certainly no $25 donors at this dinner.
Well, I also think, too, this dinner's at the White House, right?
No.
No, where is it?
I made that.
Tell me right now, because I want to know.
I don't know where it is, but it's not the White House.
I'm joining this conversation right now, whether I know what's going on or
Because if
not.
it was at the White House, that would be illegal and corrupt, and we cannot question Bush's integrity.
You know where they're holding it?
I don't know whether I'm not important enough to have been invited.
In New York, when Dickie and I are performing there.
That is a cheaper plug than these guys just bought. We have to take a break. We'll be right back.
Join us tomorrow when our guest will be Emmy-winning writer Al Franken, from The Practice, Holland Taylor, musician Jeff Skunk Baxter, and GOP strategist Marjorie Strayer.
All right. So we used up most of talking about this serious stuff. Let me ask you about Monica Lewinsky. She wants her dress back.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Yummy.
Is it?
I'm kidding.
Yuck and yummy. We have a debate.
Yeah, that's what I'm... But don't get any ideas.
It is an historical.
I think it should be.
Oh, boy,
Yes, next to other
And
First
there's no
Ladies'
reason she
dresses.
wants it, not because she wants to wear it, I don't think.
Well, you never know. She might want to sleep in it to remember those days. Do that?
Yeah.
Right.
See, we got the honest half over
That's
here.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
People like to save souvenirs of people that they've been with because they're very good for when you're making voodoo dolls. You know, and if you need personal, items that actually came off of the person.
Because otherwise the voodoo doesn't work.
Yes.
I think we all know that.
Right? Right?
Maybe she's been suffering from camera deprivation.
No, she wants it because there's some money in it.
Well,
It's valuable.
It off on eBay.
very
There's more
valuable.
than money in it.
She lost some weight, though, right? So she's not going to, I don't think she's going to fit in it
I think she
anymore.
wants to clone President Clinton.
Bill, when we do our shows, I do offstage announcements before we go on. I do this centaurial announcer's voice, and I say, tonight the Smothers Brothers, along with the Late Noble Orchestra, the June Taylor Dancers, the Lewinsky Oral Choral Ensemble, and a visit from the Yo-Yo Man. But we always have fun with that. But
well, I mean, I think everybody did. My question is, why hasn't it been returned to her yet? And I think this is why a lot of people have a problem with the federal government, is that when they get some of your property, whether it's your tax money when they owe your return, or, in drug busts or whatever, it's almost impossible to get it back. And I'm wondering why Ken Starr won't return this dress unless he did something to it that we shouldn't know about. Maybe there's more DNA on the dress than when they're...
Could be with the auction, like they have the federal auction, so, there might be like a drug vote. Okay, next up. We have a stained dress. We think it's Monica's. We're not sure. So you never know. So maybe do something for charity or something.
We have this show, Politically Incorrect, and Bill is such a wonderful spokesman and such a unique viewpoint on these different things. And we're so cynical. We're also cynical that we always take the darkest side of everything. And this country needs some more positive things.
Right.
I don't know how to do this.
Why do you
I don't
think
know
she
why.
So give us a chestnut, Tommy.
Right.
Yeah?
Well, I like
Give
what
us a
you
chestnut.
do. See, I like that we need to say the emperor's naked. Someone's got to say this sort of thing, but we can't be naked ourselves. We've got to have a twinkle in our eye.
Right.
We have to have when we say
And we have
these
to have
things.
some perspective. I
Perspective.
mean, Bill Clinton and his wife now look what's going on with Giuliani and his wife. They make Clinton look like Ozzie and Harriet.
Well, you know, so since you're not brave enough to ever been married, you can sit outside and laugh at these kind of things. But marriage is a very serious thing, and things happen.
It certainly does.
And you'd be a very good father. I think you should be married. You should have children. And
All
I think
right. Looks like we have to take another commercial. We'll be right back. All political commentary. No, I'm kidding. It's a great comedy. Okay, Al Franken tomorrow. Wow.